Hey, it's Jim Craddock here. It is Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. Watched my son graduate high school last night. I'm very proud of him. I had pain most of the evening. It wasn't the most fun, but I was very happy to see my son graduate high school and begin his college career this fall in computer science. I was wanting to talk about how I am mentally, I guess. And the reason I want to put this down is because I don't think, well, I mean, nobody understands where I'm at mentally. And, it's, it's not that I think I figured out a pretty good way to explain it. And so basically it kind of amounts to this. This thing throws so much at you. And uh, for the last 27 months, it has thrown a lot at me. And I would say, it changes substantially about every 3 months or so, like what it's doing to you. It's actually faster than that at different points. So let's say it's 2 to 3 months. And I just said 27 months, right? So at least 10 times it's changed how it's impacting my life. And the problem with that, and the fact that no doctor thinks anything's going on, and nobody believes me, is that each time you start dealing with something, you're like, okay, this is bad. It surely I'm close to dying because this is so bad. And then it changes, and oftentimes you get this little like respite, like some amount of time between these things where it's not nearly as bad as it was, and you're like, oh, well, this is nice. And then whatever is next comes, and then you're like, okay, this is bad, surely I'm about to die. And you know then it happens again, and each time you really think, okay, it couldn't be worse than the last time. And honestly, I guess some of the times it's not as bad as the last time. I mean, there have definitely been some worse things happen than other things that have happened. But the whole point is, like, each time you just think, okay, this is really bad and nobody sees it, and surely I'm about to die. And after a while, you're just like, I'm done. Uh, I I don't I I don't want to continue this cycle. And it's so frustrating and so demoralizing, and it just makes it impossible to function when whatever's going on is going on. And you you just get to a point where you're done with it. So that's kind of where I'm at, is I'm just done with it. And my son is graduating, and he's got his graduation party this weekend, and uh, I'm not having fun. And yeah, people, they want me in their life. I got that, okay? And I'm not gonna actively, obviously, try to end my life. That's not, but I'm I'm kind of done struggling, I guess would be the way to put it. I'm just tired of struggling and, trying, because I know some of the things that I do, like here, right here, I haven't done this yet today, but so I take fluconazole every day and not a whole lot. And then I also put it in a little capsule, uh, with, so that it'll carry on further through my system. And, you know, I try to continue fighting. And I try because I know what's going on inside me right now. And I know that, my diet can impact what's going on. And I try to limit my diet to things that will not aggravate it. Uh, but it's just so much. And I don't know if I'm not whining. It's 2.5 years of just rebound, pain, respite, totally different type of pain, uh, you know, and sometimes more than one thing going on, and expected to just function normally. Uh, it's really difficult. And so here, I wanted to show something else, and I don't know how to show this. Well, here, I'm going to do this. So I've done this before. I've showed you how, okay, look, the thing is it pulls your skin so tight, this condition does. And you can see, I don't have, uh, you know, what do you call it? I forget. Waddle. Don't have a waddle. I don't have lines. Unless I do this, then you can start getting some lines, but I don't have any, regular lines. And so I found this video that I actually recorded right when this all started in January. And I'm going to pause this for a second and pull up that. Okay, here's me smiling. And you can see very small amount of lines. Okay, now then wait. And I don't have the make me look better thing turned on, I don't think. Hold on, I will check that though. Video settings. No, I don't have the touch-up appearance. So here's touch-up appearance, just so you know. Okay, so now I have touch-up appearance on, and I don't know. Yeah, I guess it makes it so you have less wrinkles, but I'm going to turn it off. Okay, turn that off. Okay, so now we're back to normal. Now here's this video. I am going to, let's see here, share screen. How do I do that? Can I not share screen when there's nobody on it? That would suck. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, so here's my screen share. Is it this one? Is it, I can't tell. Let's try it again, make sure I get it right. Share screen, there we go. Okay. All right, so here's my screen share, and you should see over here, see how prominent my wrinkles are? Uh, see that? And then if you'll watch, I don't know, you can see later, let's see if I can, you can see my waddle kind of too. Now that's over 2 years ago. Okay, so I've aged 2 years since that point in time. And I mean, I pretty sure I look younger. You can rewind real quick if you want to look, but that, it pulls your skin really tight because of this apoptification, and then uh, uh, you shrink the cells from that, and then from the acidic nature of the system, and then the sugar in the system, everything just pulls really tight. And it's kind of bizarre, but it's yet another way of me knowing, hey, yeah, this is really real. But it's one of the minor ways, honestly. But it's still very obvious when you look at something like that. And, all I need is to know all the pain that I've gone through, all the steps that I've gone through, all the phases that I've gone through, and add on to that that no doctors ever found anything. And then that basically confirms that it is what I read all that time ago, because there's no way I could go through all that and then not find something. I mean, basically the only thing, I mean, I could be psychotic, or it could be what I read it was. And I'm sure everybody that's not psychotic says they're not psychotic, but I'm pretty sure I'm not psychotic. Uh, so, there's that. Anyway, I just wanted to leave a message today. I said, hey, mentally, I'm kind of done. And so next week I'm actually going to let them do an ultrasound on my stomach. And I'm going to go, my doctor had ordered some blood tests. I'm going to get those done because I was just trying to make it to my son's graduation. And after that, I mean, yeah, I'd like to be here. Uh, but I'm done like doing it on my own, I guess, I don't have any, like, I don't have a medical support system. And from a familial point of view, I have to hide it. I did, in order for the family to function, because they don't have the medical point of view. So, how can you get them on board if, no physician is on board? And I have fully investigated as much as I can, the physician type stuff. And so then I finally just said, okay, I'm done with all that. And I'm just gonna try to push as far as I can. Well, I'm done pushing. I'm just done. Uh, I'm not, you know, I can't do it anymore on my own. I just can't. Uh, for the last 3 months, basically it's been me work all day and then get high in the evening on at least half the evenings, just so that I can not focus on physically how I'm feeling and mentally, so that I'm in a better mood. Uh, and last night I didn't, and it really impacted me at my son's graduation. I just wasn't in a good mood. I was hurting very badly. Uh, and yeah, I can keep getting high every night, but that's stupid. I mean, I shouldn't have to do that. I should have a support system, and the fact that they've redacted this condition prevents me from having a support system. And it's I all I can say is it's really difficult to face something like this and have zero uh, medical agreement, zero ability to have your family know that you're really actually ill. Uh, and I've been trying to do every single thing I can in my life to give 100%. And I'm probably going to keep trying to do that, but it is so difficult, and nobody realizes how difficult it is. It's really bizarre. Everybody expects normalness, uh, because they don't have any reason not to. So anyway, uh, I'm doing all I can, and I pushed as far as I can. And so, next week, whatever happens, happens. And if the doctors don't confirm anything, then I just basically keep getting high in the evenings and keep going for as long as I can. I kind of expect him to see something. I honestly expect it to make it worse. Both the blood, even just a simple blood draw, because my blood is so low. That it sounds stupid, but when you realize that you can't feel a pulse in my foot, and you're like, well, that's impossible. You're using your leg and stuff. No, because my body's burning ketones and it doesn't need the blood oxygenation to go down there. It's a really bizarre condition. All the everything is blood just basically doesn't circulate into the lower body in this condition. So it's hard to describe, but the way the article put it is that your heart pumps, and so basically you can feel a pulse in the extremities, but not so much the foot because it's such a far extremity. But really, it's just an increase and a lowering of the pressure in the body, and there's really not circulation going on, which you're like, well, that shouldn't be possible. I should detect that your blood oxygenation isn't sufficient. And it explained that too, and it has to do with carbon monoxide in the blood due to some chemical reaction that's going on that's extremely bizarre. And anyway, lots of organic chemistry. And you're like, well, none of that could be possible. Well, I mean, here I am, with the ketones that it always said that would come back. And they finally came back, and with the bowel issues that it said I would have, and the pain it said I would have, and it talked about how it would feel like they had a belt around their waist. Definitely feels similar to that. I could think of, there's been a lot of other types of abdominal pain in the last couple months, but that is kind of where we're at right now. Very difficult. It talked about how it's difficult to sit like I am now, sitting straight up. It also talked about how, and that's the thing, is there's kind of some different routes that the people could go near the end, depending on how they ate and stuff, but talked about how they tried to sit up perfectly because literally the muscles holding their ribs in alignment or something, and the tendons had, had been, I don't know, something done to them to where they would get sharp pains if they moved off center or anything. And I haven't got to that yet. Although it does feel better to sit up straight for my back, my belly now doesn't allow me to really enjoy that. So it feels better when I lean back like I am now. If I sit up like this, especially for any long amount of time, like at a graduation, significant issues. And the whole digestive system is just completely out of whack, is all I can tell you. And I know why. And, there's early on the cecum, there's a thinning of it, and fluid it can get through, but not any materials. And then eventually it gets to where materials can leak out. And I think that's where we're at now. And it's only some materials because it's just a very fine type thing. But like I said, the potential is there. It literally talked about in the article uh, how a ultrasound could make things worse by spreading the infection from the wall to the actual intestines. Although I'm pretty sure we have to already be past that at this point, so I don't know, but maybe it also talked about, they press up on the liver and things. So, I don't care at this point if things really get worse on us. Kind of hope they do, which is stupid, I know, but I'm just kind of done. And it's a lot. And I don't know how people with chronic illness do it long term. I mean, somebody who's had some chronic illness for 10 years or something like that. I mean, I get part of how they do it is they have a medical support system that people recognize, and that's huge. I think that that's probably a lot of how they're able to do it, you know? They have other people who have that condition, the doctors tell them how to treat that condition. They have medicines that are for that condition. They know what behaviors are bad for that condition and what behaviors are good for that. I have none of that. There's no reference for me to go to know, hey, this is going on, this is not going on, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. There's no ability for anyone to relate to me, or even really believe me, because, you know, the test results are de minimis. So I, I'm just kind of done. And I hate that. I hate it. I have always said that I will persevere, and I will, but I'm so tired of it. Anyway, uh, yeah, who knows how many more recordings there'll be? I don't. I don't know what else to update you on. My weight has gone down some. I'm not quite to my kind of minimal weight level, which would be in the 150 to 148 region, but I'm like at 153. So, you know, a couple months ago, when kind of all this started, I had this phase I went through where I wasn't able to, I didn't have a need to go to the bathroom very often. I gained like 20 pounds and all this fluid. And then I started having to go at night, and like more than once a night and stuff like that. And I lost a whole bunch of weight. And there's this whole thing I can't get into, but it's like, you know, the way everything is being done, it causes this reduced pressure in your abdomen, and that eventually kind of helps pull things through that weakness in the cecum. And anyway, I'm pretty sure that's where we're at with all this. So I don't know that there's anything I could do really. I've just been doing what I can to get as far as I can, and I'm just kind of done with it. So it may go really quick from here. And if it does, it does. I think, you know, I'm sorry for the people at work. Honestly, I think you're gonna have great difficulties without me around. I mean, I, I, I'm freaking really good at what I do. I guess would be the best way to put it, and very difficult to replace my skill set and knowledge set. Uh, just, you know, I'm really good, and people, you can get people that know data architecture, and you can get people that know SQL, but getting somebody who's really good at both of them is difficult, and getting somebody who is really good at both of them and knows our architecture and systems is impossible. They're just art, it's all custom stuff. And as good as I am at building it, and proper and do it in all the right ways, it's still going to take somebody a long time to figure it out. And you know, uh, and that assumes that you can get the guy who's really good at it. If you just get the people who are kind of mediocre at it, yeah, you're going to need several people to replace me. So yeah, and then that's not me. I'm not. I'm just a smart guy, and uh, you know, obviously I reproduced uh, an experiment from the early 20th century with Diet Coke, and had the faith to not let the knowledge go that I did what I did. So tested at 140 IQ when I was young. You know, you obviously get a little dumber as you get older, but and I've never been really good at some things. I think I've talked about this in one of my other videos, how I think there's IQ is like this kind of amorphous thing where some people can be really good at one thing and some people can be really good at other. I mean, this is what savants are all about, right? Well, mine is logic and like seeing relationships with data. I just found my niche. So, math was part of that, and I was really good at math. But the perfect thing for me was data and relationships and coding of those things and data architecture. So anyway, I've done what I can do, and I'm going to take this fluconazole, and I'm going to take this video and post it. I think we're out in July now. But I love my family. Please, everyone, share my story. Whoever you want to say they is, which realistically is the WHO and other people, but they reclassified this condition, and they reclassified it because they had to, in order to make the experiments kind of leave public record, because the experiments were unethical. And medicine has this whole emphasis on ethical stuff now. And so they have to make that go away, and they can't let the diagnosis sit out there, because if the diagnosis sits out there, they have to let the experiment sit out there, because it's an iatrogenic condition, in order to explain the diagnosis. So they just reclassified the diagnosis as polyendocrine autoimmune system with candidiasis, which it really isn't. Maybe some similarities. But that allowed them to then, the reason they did it, and the author, he didn't understand why they're doing it. He questioned, he's like, this doesn't make sense why they're reclassifying it. It made sense when you look at the fact that that allows them to make the experiments leave public record. Okay. And the reason they don't want experiments is not just because they're unethical, but because it fundamentally changes biology. It's not difficult to reproduce. I did it in a mental institution while under observation, and uh, and it creates a condition that leads to all of these things. Now, if they had left it the way it was, and people could reference it, they would know what to do during different phases of the disease in order to keep things minimized, in order to not aggravate the situation. But screw that, let's just throw it all in the trash. And that's what they did. And anyway, so share my story. It's science should not be redacted. And this is where we're going with AI. AI is not going to tell you how to make a pipe bomb. Well, honestly, I kind of think it should. I think, if it doesn't, then what else is it not able to tell you that it should be able to tell you? If who's making the decisions for the alignment of the AI? Because that's the same thing that has been done here in my case. And so basically that allows them to redact whatever they want. And that could be historical facts for people. I mean, it is historical facts when you're talking about science and things. So they could come in and just, remove Martin Luther King, or, make George Washington gay, or whatever. And because that's what the online stuff says, that's what everybody's going to say. And books are going to go away. Uh, I just, I worry. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's going to the moon, and that's probably a better thing to leave you with today. So, hey, this is Jim Craddock. I showed you my aging thing. I'm about to be 55. I'm pretty sure I don't look 55. If you dyed my hair right now, I'm pretty sure you would say I could look 35. Not so much in this other photo. Let's just flip back to that one more time. Where is that? Turns it green, so you kind of skip over. Somehow it makes your eyes skip over it. Anyway, so there, one more time. So there's the old me. Yeah, not so pretty. And here's the new me. I have not had a facelift. But it did talk about that in the article. It talked about how women kind of liked the men that had this condition because they had the body of a much younger man, and they didn't have the wrinkles. It actually showed close-ups of an eye drawing with crow's feet and reduction and changes in body shape and everything. And here we are. Print becomes reality. On a great news, today the House voted against CBDCs. Although they left themselves room for the legislature to create CBDCs. I think people kind of overlook that, but the Fed can't do it and the Treasury can't do it, which means they won't be able to create money that spies on you, which is good, or expires, or can be digitally manipulated to where suddenly it's just not there anymore, or anything like that. So that's good. And it tends to lead to the case where Bitcoin will just go to the moon. And I think it looks like they're going to approve these Ethereum ETFs, which, yeah, I mean, those other cryptos are all gambling, and honestly, you're better off gambling right now. And it's very much like the death of money. If you've ever read that book where they were talking about how people were making all this money in paper, but because the stocks were going up, meanwhile the value of the money was going down. Well, I mean, yeah, right now you're better off buying all these meme coins, honestly, than you are Bitcoin. It's just that I'm not willing to put my money in those for long term. I have a little bit of each one of them, and it does improve your overall return. But you know, uh, each one of those could go to zero, although I don't think they are anytime soon, just because they have proven to be money makers. So, like, I should have bought Pepe when it came out, and I thought about it. I just couldn't figure out where to buy it. I don't like getting into the super obscure stuff. Pepe's up, I don't know. You could have put 50 or $100 in it and be a millionaire at this point. So, all right, that's enough for today. Take it easy. It's Jim Craddock. Share my story. Appreciate it. Love you, family.